Hi, everyone. Good morning. So I'm Gerasimos Marketos. I'm a VP of Product at Hack the Box. Super excited to be here with you today. I think it's my first product-focused event in Greece, so that's another reason to be excited. Oh, I can see there as well. Okay, so I'm here actually to talk about product-driven culture and my personal experience when I tried to introduce that in a startup. In a growing startup, actually, back then. What are the lessons learned? What are some interesting points I want to share with you today? And how this product-driven culture evolved over time while the company was getting bigger and bigger. I'm not claiming that what you're going to hear today is right or wrong, right? It's my personal experience, my personal journey. A little bit of background first, like what I was doing before I jump into this, and before I start this journey. So I was in a different continent. I was in a different country. I was in the corporate world. I was working for a pretty big company, 700 people, as you can see. Pretty large R&D organization, 200 engineers organized in 30 Scrum teams or something. Yes, we're doing Scrum, safe if you're interested. It was a pretty mature product organization, 25 product managers led by a chief product officer, and the company was in a pre-IPO phase. I'm sharing this just to share just to set like some light on what were the expectations, how much pressure there was to deliver things, for the numbers to look all right, and all these things. And from there, I jumped into, as I said, a growing startup, around 45 people back then, one engineering team, single engineer team, consisting of 8 people, 8 software engineers. I was the first product person in the company, and the company was in seed route. So we had received some funding. We had to start showcasing results, obviously. And so the journey begins. I joined the company day one. I scenes like this. I assume we have project managers in the room. No offense, guys, but I was hired as the product guy. So I had a mini heart attack, to be honest. I was like, I was checking my offer letter. Did I sign up for something else? Am I here to do something else? But yeah, jokes aside, that was the point when I realized that I had a lot of work to do. The company was trained in a different way from what I used to know in my previous company. So I had to do a lot of work to convince people that we need to change the mindset if we want to grow. On this slide, you can see the biggest challenges. I try to summarize the biggest challenges I faced, let's say, in the first month. And I'm gonna focus on the stakeholder management side and also the engineering side. So from a stakeholder management perspective, first of all, I started working very closely with the CEO of the company. Great guy. This was the guy who built the product. Now, that was a great opportunity for me. I was able to understand the product in depth very quickly. His vision was, we were talking about his vision all the time, but at the same time, it was a great challenge for me because I had to prove that I understand the product, I understand his vision, and I have my own vision for the product. Also, a ton of short-term goals from different stakeholders. Everything was a priority. Everything had to happen tomorrow, in a week. The long-term thing was a month from now. But no one was questioning why this is a priority, why we need to do this now. Is this aligned to everything else we're trying to do? And questions like this. The whole company was talking about projects. Although we were a platform at the end of the day, and we had specific products. We weren't like a company building custom projects or something like this. A lot of gut feeling. My gut says this, my gut says that, or I talked to someone from the community, or a client told me this. No data-driven decision making. Also, a lot of requests, feature requests coming in from clients or for prospects sometime, even more pressure, right? If we have this feature in 2 weeks, then we're going to close this deal. Fine, but is this aligned to what we're trying to do here? No one was asking this. Pretty much no one was asking this. No go-to-market process also. The go-to-market process was coming down to, that's a social media calendar. We want to talk about this in 2 weeks from now, in a month from now. Sometimes we even announcing things that we're still under development, in early development phase. On the engineering side of the house, when you start talking to the team, you see a list of quotes there. The very first question was, are we going to do agile? I was like, I don't know. Let's see how you guys work. And let's find out what is the best way to work as a team. The second thing was, there was the perception that the engineering team is going to report to me. I tried to change that from day one. And I tried to send the message that we're going to be best buddies here, product and engineering, but we're not going to have the concept of developers reporting to product managers. I think we heard this in the previous talk as well. A lot of misalignment within the team. Front end is ready, not sure about back end. Two trains running in parallel, not talking, and people not talking to each other. And when it was time to talk to each other, because at some point, obviously, we need to integrate front end and connect front end and back end. Obviously, it was very late. When I joined also, they were working on the new version of the platform for 5 months. No demo, stakeholders had seen nothing, no feedback. So I knew that we had to change that as well. And also, any discussion about ETAs was a very difficult discussion. Why? Because the perception was that we have to deliver all these things. Everything was a big bang thing. We need all these things in order to go live. No concept of breaking down things to small batches and deliver value continuously. So from there, we started working on changing the mindset. First of all, when it comes to priorities, my first idea, first of all, was to ask C-level, give me 3 to 5 goals. What we're trying to achieve this year. And then, from there, I was able to define a set of product initiatives. I'm not talking about epics. I'm not talking about features and stories. No, big concepts. How we are going to fulfill these goals. How we're going to contribute to these goals. This changed the perception a lot because every request that was coming in, every idea, a lot of ideas, of course, flowing around, we were seeing that from that perspective. Is this going to help us achieve these goals? If yes, okay, let's discuss. If no, put it on the side. We're not going to do it now. I started discussing trade-offs. For some reason, previously there was the perception that if we have a goal for this week or for the next 2 weeks, and we can suddenly change that and add another goal and maybe 2 more things to work on, and everything is going to be delivered on time. So we had to understand that there is a trade-off, right? And it comes down to priorities. If we think that we don't work on the most important thing right now, fine, let's change it. And let's switch to the most important thing. People started understanding this, and also they started setting priorities on their side, right? I'm going to talk to product, but I'm going to talk for the most important thing from my side, not 10, 15 ideas, interesting ideas, but without priorities. Also, we made clear that we are sticking with the software service model. This goes back to requests for custom features and maybe sometimes specific client instances or on-premise solutions and things like that. We made the decision that for the size of the company, the only model that makes sense is software as a service. It was like a 50-person company. That was the only way to scale. That was the only efficient business model. On the engineering side, again, as I said, I sent the message from day one that there are boundaries between product and engineering. I start talking about the what and why, and I try to enable my team, engineering team, to dictate the how. And I'm saying this because I'm a technical guy, like computer science graduate and all these things. In theory, I could dictate a solution, but I didn't want that because that will send the wrong message. We introduced monthly iterations. That was more like a time box, right? Let's decide about the priorities for the next month. And this wasn't a top-down approach. This wasn't me or product in general, like specifying that, guys, these are the things that we need to deliver. There's no discussion. The team was deciding collectively that yes, we can commit to these goals for the next month, and we feel confident. That's the confidence vote. We feel confident that this is going to happen. If the team doesn't feel confident, it's not going to happen, obviously, and we need to discuss how we're going to make them. We're going to make it confident. We introduced also strict rules from mid-iteration scope changes. That goes back to what I was saying before about like priorities. If we don't, if someone feels that we don't work on the most important thing right now, let's have discussion. But you need to prove it. You need to prove that we need to focus on something else right now. Also, we started splitting between MVP and post-MVP work. And when I'm saying MVP, I don't mean just like a subset of features, right? Just like, okay, we are planning to deliver 100 features, and MVP is something with 10 features. No, we can focus on specific personas, okay? Maybe not the entire user base that we had in mind, specific personas or specific functions, something that is actually a minimum viable product. But this also helped us, like, provide estimations and, have something to put out there and deliver value to our users and customers. By the way, you hear me saying, I did that, because I was literally alone back then. Over months, but in the later months, this changed. We built a product team. So I was working, and I was working with great product people back then. Okay, so many months later, the company was getting bigger and bigger. We had to set up some more solid process when it comes to feature requests and ideas. So we introduced an idea management process. We're collecting many different data points, and we're taking into account all these data points when we're setting priorities. We started, obviously, we started putting together a roadmap, looking in the future, not just for the next month, but at the same time, we started talking openly about pivoting without mercy. Yes, we said that we're going to do this and that in 2 or 3 quarters from now, but the market changed, users' needs change, our client needs change. So we're going to revisit this, and we're going to come up with a new plan that makes sense now. Transparency on how we set priorities. Basically, we try to explain that for us, it comes down to 4 pillars, 4 things. What is the value that we deliver, the business value that we deliver, business value in the broader sense. This could be potential revenue, this could be increasing engagement, adoption, and other key metrics we are monitoring. The second thing is, if this work is going to be an enabler for us, it's going to help us hit some milestones, some bigger milestones down the road. The third thing is, if it's going to help us reduce risk somehow. Maybe sometimes there are regulatory issues, for instance, that we need to account for. And the fourth pillar is the engineering effort. How much time this gonna take us? And if it's a great idea, fine. But we need to work on this for like 5-6 months. Maybe it's not the right thing to do now. Maybe we need to discuss how we break this down to something smaller that has value. We deliver it and we take it from there. Also, we improved the communication with business teams, meaning we started talking, actually, and they started talking to us and have a conversation about what is the roadmap, what is coming, why we're focusing on certain things, why we deferred other things. It was an open discussion and ongoing discussion. Best buddies with product marketing. We didn't exactly have a go-to-market process, but at least there was a product marketing function back then, and we started talking about positioning, storytelling, packaging things in general. On the engineering side, the team grew significantly. We're talking about 4 product streams back then. We introduced the idea of product trios. Yes, product was driving discussion about priorities, but at the same time, priorities could come from engineering, from the tech leader of each team, and for product designers as well. And these are priorities from different perspectives. We don't want to be feature factories. We don't focus only on delivering new features, and that's it. We also need to take into account technical depth, engineering improvements, all the things that we need in order to support product development at the end of the day. And also from a designer perspective, the user journey, the customer journey, and all these things. We introduced 2-week sprints because 1-month iteration was like, it was a very long period at that point, and we wanted teams to have like short-term goals. I know what I'm going to do for the next 2 weeks. That also helped a lot. We introduced time boxing. I think we heard that we heard before, in the sense that if there is an ongoing thing that we need to do every month for some reason, maybe it's technical depth, or maybe there are unknowns, right? And we don't know exactly how we're going to approach it. We can say, okay, we're gonna spend like 2 hours per week or something like this, and this will help us make progress until we reach the point that we know what we want to do, and it can be regular product development. We introduced dependency management because we're talking about 4 product streams now. So obviously there were dependencies between these product streams. Of course, a metric here, in my opinion, is that if we see a lot of dependencies between these product streams, then maybe we need to rethink the structure. Maybe we don't have the right streams in place. Maybe we need to rethink about teams, etc. But at least we had a formal process how to communicate dependencies one team to the other. Predictability metrics, I'm not going to get into this. I just invite you to hear the talk from Michalis, our head of engineering. He will focus specifically on that. And of course, the journey continues, right? I'm not saying that even at that point, we were at the point that, in my opinion, we could be. So here I have picked like 4 pillars, four specific areas which I think make a difference. First of all, roadmaps, right? Again, sending the message that we need to keep the balance between product roadmap and the technical roadmap. This helped the discussion with engineering a lot, but at the same time send the right message to leadership, to C-level, that, again, we cannot only focus on features. We have to take care of our tech and infra stack. And it is important, this message to come loud and clear from the product guy, from the product team as well, not just from engineering. Also, we created a stronger go-to-market process. It wasn't anymore about product and product marketing. We had a cross-functional team and effort. Yes, product and product marketing, sales enablement, customer success, account management, basically everyone who had to be ready when something was about to be released. And people started understanding and realizing that it's not only about the release itself. Yes, fine, we're going to release that feature, but are we ready to talk about this to our clients, to our users? Do we have marketing brochures in place? Do we have comms to go in general in place? Does the sales team understand how to sell this? And all these aspects. And strategic product management, I think that's also important because, like, in the early days, the focus when it comes to delivery and even coordinated releases was on product managers and product owners. We shifted that responsibility to engineering because it made more sense. These are the people who know exactly what is going to be released. This gave breathing room to the product team to focus on talking to clients, understanding the market, thinking about the future in general. And last but not least, product-led growth activities and strategies. That wasn't an easy thing. It was very hard to convince the sales team that these guys are not going away. We had a very open and honest discussion. And the message was that they need to focus on high-value accounts, on specific personas, senior leaders, chief executives, chief security officers, and things like that. People actually who will never be users of the platform, so we don't have a chance with PLG to attract them. And the focus on, of the PLG activities was exactly on our champions, on users who could speak about us to their managers and convince that our offerings make sense. That's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gerasimos. There are a lot of questions, actually, and we're over time, so I'll just stick to the voting. So please vote, vote, vote if you want. Top voted question right now. Is there something you're missing from the earlier dates in Hack the Box when things were more fluid and unstructured, or is it now everything better?
I mean, I guess someone could argue that we were more agile back then. We're talking about, features and the vision with a lot of people all the time. I feel that after some point we missed that, and we had to miss it because the company was growing. There was no way that everyone is going to be involved in every decision we were making. So I guess that's something I miss, but at the same time, I understand that there's no other way around. And it's our job, everyone's job in the company, to find the right processes to make sure that nothing will be left behind, if I can say that.
All right, great. Next question is, which were the most resistant changes you faced and how you overcame these?
Yeah, I would say product-led growth strategy and approach. Like, I want to be honest, like the sales team felt attacked that, there is a broader plan to get rid of them, to shrink the team, whatever. So we had to do a lot of work to convince them and to send the message that I described earlier, that there is no other way to grow the team, to grow the company and to grow the business at the end of the day, unless we hire thousands of salespeople, which obviously it wasn't our business model anyway.
A sales-driven model, yeah, wasn't the answer. All right, thank you very much. Thanks very much.